Animal. To South Africa and the continent, tune into SABC Sport.
Catch the incredible football analysis on Match Days with Ginelwe Maestro Matibaela. Proudly brought to you by SABC Sport. For the love of the game.
The National Pulse, weekdays, 3 to 6 p.m.
What about the AU?
My brother, AU is dead. AU is D-E-A-D, is dead. Is a useless body. We've captured by the French again. What will they do? Have they documented any crimes against humanity committed in Cameroon? No.
Okay.
Have they done anything? No. Have they intervened? No. AU is useless.
Dr. David Matsanga, and that's saying AU is dead. D-E-A-D.
Ashraf Garda on SAFM. Find the podcast at safm.co.za. Update at noon with Sakina Kamwendo, midday to 1 p.m.
Now, Action SA has announced plans to table the Parliamentary and Provincial Medical Aid Scheme Amendment Bill in Parliament. Now, the bill seeks to end compulsory membership in the scheme, of course, for members of Parliament and other public office bearers. Instead, members in the scheme membership to the scheme would be voluntary. But for more on this, we join on the line by Action SA Member of Parliament, Dr. Jose Letlape. Thanks so much for your time and welcome to Update at Noon, Dr. Letlape.
Good afternoon to you and good afternoon to the listeners.
Dr. Letlape, this bill, of course, the amendment is being sponsored by Action SA. Am I correct in that sense?
Yes, it is correct.
So please take us through the rationale and why you believe it is important that this amendment be made.
It is important that this amendment be made because when you look at PARMED has its ancestry in the days of apartheid. It's an act of 1975. In the last few years, it's now been put under the Medical Schemes Act. So even though it's from 1975, the rules that are applicable are the rules of the Medical Schemes Act. When you look at the Medical Schemes Act, it is voluntary participation. So all we ask is that membership of PARMED not to be made compulsory. When you look at companies will give people options of medical aid. And even inside one medical aid, you'll have different options inside the medical aid, despite the different choices. In addition to the different choices that you could make. PARMED doesn't work like that. Now, there's also an important issue where there's an issue of conscience. When you take into account that historically, PARMED is a medical aid that is offered to members of parliament, that is offered to members of provincial legislature, that is offered to the judiciary, and it's been offered to all these public officials since 1975. So when you come in as a new member, you are subsidizing people that come from a different era. And you are separated from the people that you come from. Now, Parliament needs to lead by example. If Parliament has passed a bill where they are talking about a national health insurance or national health system, Parliament needs to be ready to be with the people. When you look at Section 27 of the Constitution, it talks about available resources. Now, those resources in a new democracy must be pooled resources, where me as a member of parliament, where the president is a head of state, where the chief justice and Gogo Dlamini are in the same resource pool. This becomes a first step towards dismantling separateness.
And when you say that this particular issue has shielded members who belong to PARMED, you said shielded by a medical aid scheme that is exclusive to them, and as you just pointed out, cutting them off from the struggles of other ordinary South Africans who rely on public healthcare services. Are you suggesting, what are you suggesting through that?
I am suggesting that as public office bearers, we should lead by example in terms of using public facilities. When we all go for passports, we go to the same places. When we all vote, we go to the same voting stations. When lawmakers go to a different healthcare system to what they subject the majority of citizens to go to, that is discrimination 2.0. That is apartheid in health redesigned. When the Constitution talks about the right to healthcare for all of us and available resources, we've got to achieve that through solidarity. You cannot make separate pots. And one other thing that people might not understand, PARMED is probably the most expensive medical aid in this country. It is regressive towards its new members. It's got a small pool, it's got a very high cost. The major beneficiaries of PARMED are retired parliamentarians and retired judges. Well, the judges might not be contributing. Let me stick to parliamentarians. If you are a parliamentarian, after 1 year of being a parliament, you can carry on with PARMED even post your parliament days. If you have served 8 years, you get the maximum benefits. Where when you leave parliament and you stay on PARMED, the state will pick up 2/3 of your premium.
Dr. Letlape, I tell you what, we literally have to stop it here, but I certainly want to hear more about this. So we'll make time sometime next week just to take this further. But thank you so much for starting that conversation with us, Action SA Member of Parliament, Dr. Kgosi Letlape.
We're delving deeper into the world of mining and engineering. From the Coalface with Martin Creamer.
Well, it's that time again on a Friday when Update at Noon presents another update from the Coalface with Martin Creamer, publishing editor of Engineering News and Mining Weekly. Good afternoon, Martin.
Good afternoon, Sakina.
Martin, a new green hydrogen project is being built in South Africa with the help of German funding.
Yes, I'm very grateful to the Industrial Development Corporation of South Africa, which placed an ad in the newspapers outlining this project in Prieska in the Northern Cape. And the IDC itself is a part funder, but there's also a German funder, this KfW, and it has received a lot of publicity, not only in our local press, but also in international press. And it was great that Hydrogen Fuel News of the United States actually gave a lot of attention to this. And it said it could be a bellwether, because in creating the green hydrogen and turning it into green ammonia, which is going to be used in ships for moving goods, it said it is combining public finance with local empowerment and global partnerships to get an offtake into Europe and Asia. And they said there will be a lot of eyes on this. They also gave a lot of attention to the fact that, this is a platinum-based technology that will be used. It's called PEM technology, and that is what splits the water into the hydrogen and oxygen. And then this is powered by the great sun of the Northern Cape, which they also remarked and said this is really, a huge asset to have so much sunlight and also wind. So quite a lot of focus on this Prieska green energy, green ammonia project in South Africa.
And then, Martin, South Africa is streaking ahead with the recovery of rare earths elements from a waste dump in Limpopo.
Yes, and this is also fantastic, and there are a lot of global eyes on this as well. I was quite surprised. It is being done by, Rainbow Rare Earths. What they've done is they've gone to Palabora. They've noted that there is a waste dump, and in the stacks of this dump are rare earth elements. And because it's on surface, they believe this is going to be a very good project because, it will not require as much funding as the underground projects. And it's got investors that are international already. And what they did is they took the material and they did intensive work on it in a Johannesburg laboratory to turn it into probably the purest rare earth element of its kind in the world. And this is in demand for magnets. The world is using magnets like they've never used them before, for wind turbines and in a lot of the new energy situations. They want these rare earth elements. So it's a good breakthrough for South Africa and Limpopo province.
And that's where we have to leave it for today. Martin Creamer back with another edition of At the Coalface, same time next Friday. And don't forget, all of these conversations are available via podcast. So just go onto the SAFM page for that. And thanks so much to the production team. Thanks to everyone who tuned in. And of course, all of our newsmakers. We'll do it again. Enjoy the weekend. It's time for the latest news with Ondela Mbana.
Thank you, Sakina and the team on the top stories. Police search for suspects in shooting incidents on the Cape Flats and state demands no bail for Free State murder suspect. For SAFM News, I'm Ondela Mbana and a very good day. Police have launched a manhunt for suspects behind 3 separate shooting incidents in Athlone on the Cape Flats this morning. Western Cape Police spokesperson Novella Potelwa says the incidents are believed to be linked to suspected gang fights. She says a man was gunned down on the court premises by a suspect who fled the scene. It's believed the victim was due to appear in court today as an accused. Potelwa says police later recovered a firearm and other belongings.
Not far from the court, a man and a woman were shot and wounded in separate incidents. They were transported to medical facilities for treatment. The detectives from the anti-gang unit are investigating.
3 people have died on the N4 outside Rustenburg in the northwest following a crash involving a fuel tanker and a cash-in-transit van. The crash happened this morning and the N4 has since been closed. Motorists travelling between Rustenburg and Pretoria are advised to use the R104. Spokesperson for the Department of Public Safety, Ushebeng Kunyaditi.
Motorists traveling between Rustenburg and Pretoria are warned that they must use an alternative road, which is R104. This follows a horrific accident that took place around 9 o'clock this morning, where a truck carrying fuel and a cash-in-transit vehicle collided. This led to both vehicles bursting into flames, and unfortunately, so far we've lost 3 lives. The M4 is completely closed from Rustenburg right up until around Gundal, and we are appealing to all motorists to work with us to ensure that they are avoiding M4 at this stage.
The state has submitted that it is not in the interest of justice for the court to grant bail to the 80-year-old man accused of being involved in the murder and burial of a 25-year-old man in a shallow grave on a farm in Kroonstad. The accused's bail hearing is underway in the Kroonstad Magistrates Court in the Free State. State prosecutor Khabi Khanyane says the accused being released on bail may cause public outrage and jeopardize trust in the justice system. Khanyane also argued that the testimony of the investigating officer, which was based on eyewitness account, ties the accused to the crimes. Khanyane says the 80-year-old should be considered an accessory to murder as he assisted the 16-year-old minor who is accused of shooting and killing the victim by burying the body. The Nongoma Regional Court has sentenced a 34-year-old man to life imprisonment for the rape of his 14-year-old niece. The incident occurred in the KwaDongatuli area in November 2020, where the accused threatened to kill the victim if she told anyone. The accused was arrested after the victim told her grandmother. The NPA regional spokesperson, Natasha Ramkinson-Kara, elaborates.
The 34-year-old man was given a term of life imprisonment by the Nongoma Regional Court. This is for the rape of his 14-year-old niece in November 2020. In addition, the man was declared unfit to possess a firearm, and the court ordered that his name is entered into the National Register for Sex Offenders. The NPA remains steadfast in our fight against the scourge of sexual offences. We hope that sentences of this nature demonstrate our commitment.
The ANC has rejected its Limpopo chairperson Stan Mathabata's intention to step aside from his position. ANC Secretary General Fikile Mbalula convened a meeting at Lutuli House in Johannesburg yesterday with NEC deployees from Limpopo to consider Mathabata's decision. Earlier this week, Mathabata wrote a letter to the ANC communicating his decision to step aside from his responsibilities as the provincial chairperson of Limpopo. ANC spokesperson Mahlengi Bengu Motsiri says Mathabata's decision will be referred to the province.
The meeting resolved to reject the provincial chairperson's step-aside intention to refer the matter back to the province, allowing space for issues raised by the provincial chairperson to be addressed internally and for a resolution to be found. That the outcome of the provincial resolution will be communicated formally to national officials at a subsequent meeting.
The World Health Organization is appealing for $4 million in relief funds for eastern Afghanistan, hit by two powerful aftershocks 5 days after Sunday's devastating earthquake in Kuna. The WHO is warning of the risk of disease stemming from overcrowded shelters, unsafe water and inappropriate waste management. Many survivors staying in tents. Sunday's quake killed more than 2,000 people and injured well over 3,000. Recapping the top story, police have launched a manhunt for suspects behind the separate shooting incidents in Athlone on the Cape Flats this morning. I'm Ondilambana for SFM News. Headlines at 1:30.
Do you know what's hiding behind the colorful packaging of unhealthy food? Big food companies target children with unhealthy packaged foods that hide high levels of sugar, salt, and fat, which could lead to heart disease, diabetes, and hypertension. But the truth is hidden from consumers. Front-of-package warning labels are a proven solution to help consumers make informed decisions. The government must act now. We have the right to know what's in our food. Demand front-of-package warning labels. Sign the petition on heala.org, HEALA.org, by the 30th of September.
Bafana Bafana will host Nigeria in a FIFA 2026 World Cup qualifier at the Toyota Stadium on Tuesday, 9 September at 6 p.m. Tickets are now available nationwide and online from 70 Rand for adults and 40 Rand for children at all Ticket Pro outlets, including Spar, Postnet, and all petrol stations. Get your tickets early to avoid disappointment. Come in Bafana Bafana supporter gear, ready to sing for a win. Gates will open at 3 p.m. If you are not in Bloemfontein, catch the game on SABC2. For more information, visit safa.net and at Bafana Bafana on all social media channels.
SAFM celebrates its 89th birthday this month by giving listeners an exclusive opportunity to attend the prestigious Joy of Jazz taking place at the Sandton Convention Centre from the 26th to the 28th of September 2025. To stand a chance to win these sought-after tickets, simply SMS SAFM 89 followed by your name to 41391 and stay tuned to SAFM as we could be calling you. SAFM is the official media partner for the Dipala stage at the Standard Bank Joy of Jazz. Entries open from the 7th of August and close on the 31st of August 2025. Winners will be randomly selected and called from the 1st of September 2025. SMSs are charged at R1.50 per SMS. Free SMSs and SMS bundles do not apply. T's and C's apply.
SAFM 104 to 107 nationwide.
The Full Circle with Bridget Masinga, Monday to Friday, 1 to 3 p.m.
SAFM has signed a code of conduct that is enforced by the Broadcasting Complaints Commission of South Africa. Under the code, we are committed to giving news that is accurate, comment that is fair, and programming that is not harmful, does not amount to hate speech, or contain violence or explicit sex. If you think we are not living up to that code, then you can inform the Broadcasting Complaints Commission of South Africa. Direct any complaints in writing to the Broadcasting Complaints Commission of South Africa. PO Box 142365. Craig Hall 2024. Fax to 011-326-3198 or an email to bccsa@nabsa.co.za. For more information, please visit www.bccsa.co.za.
You are listening to The Full Circle.
Well, that is how we kick off the show today with sounds from bassist and composer Benjamin Jafta. He is a globally renowned South African premier double and electric bass player and a graduate of the jazz program at the University of Cape Town, as well as doing his master's, by the way, at the very fancy Berkeley Global Jazz Institute out in Boston. And this particular song, Still I Rise, is a ode to Maya Angelou's seminal works, Still I Rise. He joins me in studio today for a conversation, and we are definitely going to conversate, as the young ones say. It is a Friday, you know, and Fridays on the Full Circle, it's all about fabulous conversations with friends of the show, and today is no different. We take an artistic skew, and as you've heard, we've got Benjamin Jafta joining me in studio. We're also going to be in conversation with Limonka, who is a Motswako DJ and producer, as well as Zandile Shabalala, who is exhibiting Tales by Women. Her current exhibition she was showcasing last night as well. Beautiful stand out at the Joburg Art Fair, but we're going to get into that conversation on the other side of 2. For now, let's take a break, and then we come back and we welcome our guest in studio.
Keeping your family healthy this winter can feel like a daunting task. Try the Lung Shield range. It includes capsules to support healthy lungs and immunity, a syrup for kids that supports the immune system and promotes lung health, and an effervescent with 13 essential ingredients to optimize immune function. Put your family's health first this winter with the Lung Shield range. Available without a prescription at leading pharmacies. Lung Shield, prescribed by doctors, recommended by pharmacists.
This Heritage Month, SAFM invites you to journey into the past while shaping the future under the theme, Reimagine Our Heritage Institutions for a New Era. We celebrate the stories, traditions, and voices that define who we are as a nation. From vibrant conversations to thought-provoking debates, SAFM is where heritage meets innovation, connecting generations and keeping our culture alive in a changing world. SAFM, leading the conversations that move us. The SAFM University Debate Challenge is back. The University of KwaZulu-Natal will take on the University of Zululand in what promises to be a nail-biting debate. Join us for the 1-hour debate on This Week Today with Oliver Dixon from 6 to 7 p.m. on Friday, the 5th of September 2025. The SAFM University Debate Challenge is an independent, non-partisan progressive initiative seeking to develop confident communicators, critical thinkers, and empowered global citizens. SAFM, leading the conversations that move us.
Get ready for the 26th edition of the Standard Bank Joy of Jazz, with 3 memorable days from the 26th to the 28th of September across 4 spectacular stages at the Sandton Convention Centre. And you can join over 50 incredible world-renowned artists like Esperanza Spalding, The Bello Project, Andile Yenana, Michelle Ndengo-Cello, Trezo, as well as Omu Sangare, Jasmine Horn, and the likes of my guest this afternoon, Benjamin Jafta, as well as Nomfundo Kalava. The list is long as it is illustrious. It's going to be a musical journey deep into the heart and art of jazz. Take me there. Get your tickets now at Ticketmaster.
Bridget Masinga is streaming live now on Facebook, YouTube, and X at SAFM Radio.
All right, so my guest needs no introduction whatsoever in the jazz space. He's a bassist and composer, and he's made quite the name for himself on South African soil as well as internationally. A graduate of UCT in 2013, and of course having done his master's at the Berkeley Global Jazz Institute. And he is, I mean, do we say former Standard Bank Young Artist Jazz?
Yeah, I guess. Yeah, I'm not actually sure. I'm actually not sure. Yeah,
I don't think so.
He was a.
Because you guys don't hand it over to somebody.
No.
You just kind of say.
We carry on and
you carry on the legacy.
Sure. I hear you. I hear what you're saying. Yeah.
So Benjamin was telling me, firstly, congratulations on the new Baba.
Same to you. same to you. They could be brother and sister.
They
or
could be.
like
What do you have?
It's a boy.
Oh, yeah.
Stay away.
We could do something, you and I. Keep it in the family. But congratulations to you on that.
Yeah.
And I know you're not getting any sleep at all. But before we get into the music, and I want to double back to the single that we played, Still Our Eyes. But let's 5 minutes, 2 minutes, indulge me on fatherhood for you.
Oh, it's more work than I expected. Let's say that it's something I really wanted and I'm enjoying, but it requires a lot of for me to be present a lot.
Yes.
And for someone who's like, I have like so much things going on in my mind, I have to like just have nothing happen and just be like, it's just me and you, baby.
Yes.
You know?
Yeah?
Yeah.
I think that will do wonders though as the relationship grows,
I think
right?
it's helpful for someone like me because I'm so busy and like want to do so many things and think so many things. It's helpful for me to like focus.
Yes.
So it has been difficult, but I think very rewarding.
I love it. This is what they always say, that babies come to either change your life, expand your life, reward your life, but they definitely have a purpose. So we started off with Still I Rise, and this is coming from your new project, if I'm not mistaken, right?
Yeah.
Homecoming Revisited.
Yeah, so it's from the album Homecoming Revisited, which is releasing on the 19th September, which is kind of me revisiting my debut album from 10 years ago, Homecoming. And it's kind of a celebration for the journey that it has been up until now. It's also a way of me showing gratitude to the South African jazz scene that I love so much and its diversity. And so on the album you'll find like 30 musicians of whom I've crossed paths with over these years. There should have actually been more, but scheduling and all those kind of things. So I just tried to get as many of my friends on the album and kind of redo this music in a new, fresh way to just celebrate that.
Yeah. There's something about the spirit of collaboration when one looks at your work. I was saying when we entered the building that in my previous life, my previous show, being introduced to Benjamin, he was there with another friend who was performing. Collaboration seems to be at the center of what you do.
I mean, I think collaboration is the center of jazz and the culture of jazz because in many ways it's a democratic thing, right? We are on the stage, we maybe created the music and the compositions and the arrangements, but I cannot play every instrument at once anyway. So there's trust in everyone on the bandstand to deliver a little bit of themselves within the music. There's tenets of improvisation, so for people to explore their own ways of being within the music. And so in essence, the music in itself lends towards that collaborative spirit. And I think that's just what I'm trying to build on, and that's kind of what the jazz community in general is trying to build on.
Absolutely. I was going to ask you, when you revisit a project 10 years on Homecoming, and Homecoming was your debut,
yes,
if I'm not mistaken, debut album, right? When you revisit a project 10 years later, I'm always interested to know the sentiment, because there's some artists who really enjoy going back to their old work, and some artists who really look at their lens from a critical.
Yeah, I think I'm the latter. I'm very critical of what I make, and so I tend not to listen to anything again for quite a while. And so in some ways it was great listening to this music again in trying to pursue a version of it that is new, because it reminded me of the person I was back then, and even how I was playing my instrument, or the kind of compositional things I was going through, or even memories of me meeting my now wife back then. Like she was involved in when I was mixing that album, and we weren't married at the time, and just all these kind of things, on all my friends I had and all the conversations I had, I think, around that music. So just all those things come up again for me now, and it's kind of beautiful. It's kind of like a journal entry,
yes,
like a 10 year ago, and looking back and oh, that's kind of cool what happened there.
Yeah. Are you proud of the work now that you've gone through that journal? You've dusted it off?
Yeah. I think I'm proud of the growth. I think I'm proud of what I did and how I've grown from that. And I think I have so much more to say and so much more growth to have. And I think I just, like I always say, making music for me and making an album or releasing a work, it's just kind of like going back to the journal idea. It's just a journal entry into where I am now as a person, as an artist, and maybe I'll look back at this in 5-10 years and be like, oh, that's cool. Look what I'm doing now, and see how much I've changed. Yeah.
I'm then interested, Benjamin, if you said that you don't necessarily like re-listening to the work once you've put it out there.
Yes.
Now, when it comes to playing the work, is that a different kind of experience?
I think it can be a different experience depending on the context. I think music has a lot of emotional connotation for a lot of people, and so the reason why Homecoming, the original album, was so important to revisit at times, where a lot of people would come up to me and be like, oh, I like this song, or this song like was I like to listen to because I was going through like a depressive time, or this song reminds me of my dad, or this song reminds me of this, and I thought it was cool that people could relate a lot of stories to my music, and I thought maybe let me give the people another interpretation of the music that they also gravitated towards.
It makes perfect sense.
Yeah.
We are in studio with Benjamin Jafta, and he's going to be performing on stage at the Standard Bank Joy of Jazz. It's his sort of coming out party since he's become a dad. So,
Sure,
you definitely don't want to miss it. And the other thing that I also want to get into is, you know, the themes of the projects that you've done, right? A lot of your work, from the research that I've done and conversations that people have had really consume jazz, is that a lot of your work is really centered around identity.
Yeah.
And that's a very prominent theme for you, or was a prominent theme for you. Talk to me about that, how identity sort of segues into the music.
I think my general feeling around artistry and creating art is that an artist has to reflect the society around them and tell the story of who they are through the community that they come, and kind of put that out. And I think I come through a place where, like many of us in South Africa, where there's kind of these obscured ideas around identity because of what happened before, and because of what we were told we were promised, and what we were supposed to be. And I think we are always grappling with that. If you look at my album before this, it was called Born Colored, Not Born Free, but kind of grapples with the idea of what does it mean to be colored in a democratic South Africa now, where that term was firstly used to oppress us during apartheid, but now we kind of create a culture idea around that. And I think all the work dated back to Homecoming was kind of a introspective research of like, who am I, where do I come from, and how can I incorporate those ideas in the arts. Yeah.
Very interesting. He's got a pseudo personality as well, but we won't get into that today. We're going to take a quick pause, and then we'll come back on the other side and continue our conversation with Benjamin Jafta. Of course, this is the Full Circle with myself, Bridget Masinga. On Fridays, you know, we sit in conversations with fabulous creative friends of the show, and today is no different indeed. Let's take a quick pause, and then we'll be right back.
If you're active on social media and love SAFM, we hope you'll take a moment to like or follow our SAFM page on Facebook and Twitter. These are the best places to find all the guest information, conversations, and stories you love from your favorite presenters, along with regular updates from SABC News. And don't forget, you can send your questions to feedback@safm.co.za. SAFM, leading the conversation.
Thank you, Bridget. On the news headlines, Johannesburg Water says it has invested at least 1.75 billion rand for the current financial year to reduce high water demand across the city, including the refurbishment of leaking reservoirs. Police have launched a manhunt for suspects behind 3 separate shooting incidents in Athlone on the Cape Flats this morning. Western Cape Police spokesperson Novella Potela says the incidents are believed to be linked to suspected gang fights. And world leaders from over 30 countries have held talks to discuss Ukraine's security amid Russia's ongoing invasion of Ukraine. A full update follows at the top of the hour.
Who says talking never solves anything? SAFM, leading the conversations that move us. SAFM supports a litter-free South Africa. Play your part in keeping our surroundings and environment clean. SAFM, leading the conversation. The Full Circle with Bridget Masinga, Monday to Friday, 1 to 3 p.m.
We are in conversation with a celebrated South African jazz artist. Benjamin Jafta joins us in studio. He's going to be on stage at the Standard Bank Joy of Jazz. You definitely don't want to miss it. And of course, you know that as per our... what's our birthday? 89th birthday. Yes. As for the 89th birthday, we are giving away tickets for you to come and join us at the Standard Bank Joy of Jazz. We were running that competition the whole of August and the whole of this month leading up to the festival. We're going to be giving away those tickets. We started yesterday by calling Mpumi Cele, and she was very, very excited to win the tickets. She'll be joining us there, no doubt. She did say she said she was looking forward to Nomfundo Xaluva, because she's been tracking Nomfundo's career since inception. So she's really looking forward to her. But we are in conversation with Benjamin Jafta. He's got a brand new project, Homecoming Revisited, 10 years, celebrating the 10-year anniversary of his debut album, Homecoming. And 10 years is quite the milestone, I think, for any artist, really.
Yeah, as I was reflecting on the whole thing, I didn't think it was that long, but the more I'm speaking to people and the more they're telling me, oh, it's long, it's like, okay, cool, it's long, I guess. I mean, time is a weird thing for an artist. We kind of just like make something, and then by the time you hear it, I'm moving, just like many artists are moving on to the next thing already. Yeah. So it's like, cool, 10 years. Yeah.
Okay, I mean, 10 years... maybe we are making a big deal out of it in that sense. But in the 10 years, weirdly enough, as much as you say time is a weird construct, right, for artists. And I get what you just said about, because you guys would well, at least how I would understand it. You would conceptualize a project or an album, depending how your process works and how things come to you. And then literally get into recording it and final mixing it and before it goes out. And that can run in artists anything from a couple of months, a couple of weeks, to a couple of years, depending on the artist's process.
Yeah.
And in the 10 years, weirdly enough, though, as much as you say, I get the sense that to you it seems like it's been a short period of time. But there are artists who break for a very long time. You know, when you look at Sade, for instance, where they don't release or perform for decades, and you're just like, oh my goodness, it's been 10 years since your last project. Yeah. For you, how do you sort of go through life, live life, get the experiences in order to create the body of work? Because you also had a bit of a gap between your last project and this one.
Yeah, it takes time, and I like kind of the organic processes of figuring out and creating music, and for me that it takes a lot of experiences and just introspection, and also upskilling my craft, learning new things, and then I'll be like, oh, let me try this out, and those kind of things. And I don't think there's a specific time for me, but I definitely go kind of through seasons of creativity where you'll find for like a month or 3 months I'm very like creative and things are just happening, but it's probably because a lot of things that had happened before that, and then after that I won't maybe be as creative at making stuff, but I'll still be performing with people and working on craft and working on bettering myself on things, and it happens like that for me, I guess. I know for a lot of people creativity is a daily practice, so you can actually get up and like sit by your piano or sit and like I'm gonna compose, and for me I think I hit the wall when I'm like that. I kind of would sit there and then I'm like, I think I'm gonna go walk my dog. I do something else, and I think that's also another way for me to figure things out. Yeah.
Interesting process, I think, and for us, we like to glimpse into an artist's process. And then when you collaborate so much, when do you start, or rather, should I say, when you're in that process of creating? Are you in isolation to let all of that filter itself?
Well, at the moment with this, when we started this process, actually what had happened was I had collaborated with this band from Cape Town called Kujenga. So last year, I thought it would be a cool idea to kind of celebrate this work with Kujenga, since in many ways this work also influenced kind of that band in the beginning. This is what the founding members told me. Whatever. So we thought, okay, let's try and do something, because my initial aims for this project of Homecoming 10 years ago was to make jazz more accessible for younger people, and Kujenga is a band that's doing that. And so I wrote some arrangements and then kind of gave it to them, and we performed it together. And I think that process also informed kind of different directions I can take with the music. And then we went into studio, and then I started kind of producing the album, and we did one day with Kujenga in studio, and then a couple of days in Cape Town and in Johannesburg, where I just got a whole lot of different musicians to come through to the studio and just to lay on top of this bed of music. And that's kind of how the song started from one thing and became a whole different thing at the end.
Oh, love it. Let's rewind it all the way back to young Benjamin.
Okay.
Because if you're trying, also part of your journey is the consciousness of making jazz accessible to younger people.
Yeah.
When for you did jazz find its resonance? I know you grew up in Cape Town.
Yeah, so very early on, my dad was in like a singer in a top 40s cover band, like singing pop and Earth, Wind and Fire and Frankie Beverly and Maze and stuff like that. And so we had an appreciation for music, and I would say good music, that's just my opinion. And so there was like gospel, smooth jazz, and kind of that pop funk stuff in the house, CDs, and so that was my first kind of impression of music. And then he sent my sister and I to piano lessons. I got some drumming lessons. He played like a little bit of bass and guitar. He became a worship leader in the church, and then I started playing in church and all those kind of things. So that was kind of my upbringing. There was a big appreciation for music. I had a great music teacher at my high school by the name of Fred Kate that kind of exposed me to kind of this like serious contemporary jazz, Black American music, as I like to say. And that's kind of how I got into that as well. So it's many mentors. Another mentor was by the name of Alvin Dyers, who I used to play a Monday night's jam in Cape Town with every Monday late at like 12 a.m. and I had like an 8 a.m. class the next morning. But that was all kind of forming my love and appreciation for this music. Yeah.
Interesting. You see, doesn't matter where you find your roots as a kid. You can be growing up in Cape Town, in Mitchell's Plain, and you decide that actually I'm going to go this route.
For sure.
You know, that is Benjamin Jafta, and I'm loving the conversation around just the creative process as well, and also just understanding. It's interesting to me. We had Tandi Nduli here, and I've spoken to her so many times before. I know she's your homie, and I always say it's interesting how we have sort of a perception of what jazz artists present or package themselves in. And then when you look at younger jazz artists, there's a breaking of the mold, even just in your own personal packagings, in how you bring yourselves to audience. It's telling a different narrative of the genre.
I think that's the kind of dilemma or struggle that jazz musicians have fought for a while. Like even going back to people like Miles Davis and Charles Mingus, all of those, is like jazz is just this name that other people gave what we do. We know what it is, and we know how we feel about it, and we know how approachable it is for everyone to enjoy. But I think people just like, oh, jazz, so they think, oh, it requires a certain kind of listening ear, or it requires a certain kind of economic level, or whatever, you know. And I think we've been trying to break that idea for the past few years. Even when people ask me, why do I play jazz and I'm young, like how does that work? I'm like, most of my gigs are young people, so I'm not sure what people are saying that jazz is for old people. Jazz is for everyone, really. And so I think we constantly in that struggle, and people who know, and like now we're out here doing interviews so that other people can also know, like, it's cool, man, like anyone, it's for everyone.
That's
really.
true.
Yeah.
As we wrap up the conversation in our last 2 minutes, so this album, you've termed it a love letter to South Africa.
Yeah. It's a love letter to the South African jazz scene, specifically, because I think over the past few years, it has given me so much. Like I basically could have a whole career and sustain myself as a musician, which is also an important idea in a South African context. Purely just playing this music and playing with all the collaborators that I've played with over time. And so this is kind of just my way of saying thank you to everyone. That's why I wanted everyone to just come and play on this album and just enjoy themselves and just like be an expression of what I think our South African jazz scene, or just a snippet, a slice of what it sounds like, because it is very diverse. And so if people listen to this music, they might not like my music, and it's fine, but they can find a name on there and they can check their music out and they'll be like, oh, I like that, and that's cool, because I'm just advocating for this music and for this jazz.
I love it. Benjamin Jafta, I appreciate the time with you this
Thank you for having
afternoon.
me.
Thank you for coming through. And the consummate professional, he was here like an hour before the show. He's basically furniture at SAFM. You can catch Benjamin at the Joy of Jazz. He's going to take to the stage there, and those tickets are available for you. Ticketmaster.co.za is where you go to get the tickets. We'll see you there from the 26th until the 28th. It's 2 o'clock. Let's take a quick pause and then we'll be right back.
This year, the Standard Bank Joy of Jazz Festival presents 3 unforgettable days deep in the art and heart of jazz. From the 26th, 27th and 28th of September, Umu Sankare, Abapemu, Jasmia Horn, Silent Law and the Noisemakers, Najbonk Trio, Michelle Ndingio-Cello, Willem Siini, Gabby Mutuba, and over 50 world-class acts will be ready to welcome you and yours to 4 magnificent stages of the Sandton Convention Center. Take me there. Buy your tickets at Ticketmaster now.
EFC's heavyweight title fight is live this Thursday. Elvis Moyo, the legend, a name whispered in the halls of greatness.
Elvis is the heavyweight champion of the EFC.
Now stands on the edge of his greatest enemy, Mutunga Jikasa. Triple H enters the Hex with a score to settle. Now redemption is on the line. EFC is live this Thursday from the World Sports Betting Arena. Watch it on SABC Sport Channel on DTT Channel 4 from 7 p.m. Brought to you by SABC Sport.
Gender-based violence is destroying lives and tearing communities apart. It happens in homes, in schools, at workplaces, and too often in silence. But it doesn't have to continue. If you see it, speak out. If you are hurting, reach out. Because doing nothing is not an option. Listen to all 19 SABC radio stations from Wednesday, the 23rd of July for hard talk, discussions, advice, dramas, educational shows, and interviews around GBV with experts, survivors, lawmakers, and a whole country affected by gender-based violence. All on your favorite SABC radio station. Call 0800 428 428 to report abuse or get help. GBV, it ends with you. This message is brought to you by the SABC. Bridget Masinga is streaming live now on Facebook, YouTube, and X at SAFM Radio.
I thought it, but I didn't really need the end.
We are, you catch us in mid-conversation with my guest, Motswako DJ, producer and television producer. Lemunka joins us for a catch-up. We're talking all things the Motswako Republic Tour, which is a series of Motswako-themed events, celebrating and observing 20 years, the 20th anniversary of Motswako. And I was asking Lemunka, as my technician switched on the mic, what does Lemunka mean?
Yes. Yeah, I mean, I was given the name by WHP, and I remember my initial name was DJ Monks.
You say you remember your initial name?
Well, so as an artist, right,
Yes.
when you come up with different names.
Yeah.
But what happened to my name? My name is in Tiban. My sister name is in Tiban. So from home, so it changed from Tiban to Mungasi to Monks, right? Then WHP tried to make some rhyme, but the monks thing didn't work. So you figured, no, Lemonka. And I tried to fight. And I tried to even Google it. It's Russian. I don't even, yeah.
What a wowza. Listen, you are taking us down memory lane with Java. Oh, he's so missed. He's so missed. What an incredible soul. What an incredible performer. You've been part of this Motswako scene since its inception.
Yes.
Take us back to those moments.
So I think I joined the movement around, again.
Time is a construct that no one pays attention to. Don't worry.
In 2005, when Omang was released,
Yeah.
I was working here by Campus Square. There was a record store there. We used to sell vinyls and equipment, DJ equipment. That's where Jabba found me. We didn't meet in Mafikeng at all. And when I came into his camp, I'm the one who started making the WHP t-shirts. I forced him to have a DJ because I saw him struggle at events where he used to call the sound man to play track number 4. And I pitched this to him every weekend at these events, and until he gave in. And we had a blessing relationship from 2005 until the last album. So we worked closely together. So I managed him, I did his branding, I was PR for the label Lekoko, and everybody that came in. Like when he signed Mulimi, I was the one who was working the album.
I see.
Yes.
So basically, all of us who are listening now, late millennials, who, for instance, grew up on a YFM, if you were Gauteng based, you were in the mix.
100%.
Every Jabba performance, you were the guy.
I was the guy. In fact, I did a bit of research. I'm the first DJ to DJ for an artist.
Oh.
Because I was trying to do a documentary around DJs and mixtapes. I'm the first DJ to have a mixtape that has original music.
Okay.
And then I just went back a bit and I can't celebrate myself like that.
No, you must. You must celebrate yourself like that. I mean, this movement has really just stayed the test of time, Motswako.
Yes.
What is it about it as a culture of music?
I think more than anything, storytelling, brotherhood, we support each other. If it's your birthday, we come through for free and you'll be the beneficiary, and we can help push your album. And the other thing that we do is before your album gets released, you can send it to us. We can critique it as open as we can, and you can't take offense. And in that way, you can drop a dope album moving forward. Yes.
Yeah. So you think that element of brotherhood
Yes.
is what has sustained it and enabled it to really create I almost want to say it's a subculture of hip hop with
100% subculture, yes.
Yeah.
Yes. I mean, there was a point where I didn't stay in Joburg. I was based in Zeerast. I was running a radio station in Zeerast, a community radio station there. And every time I came here, I didn't have a place to sleep. All I had to do was call either Dukes or Jeba, whoever I could call on my way here. I didn't even in fact, a lot of the rappers stayed at Jeba's house here by Campus Square before they released. Morafi, Max Hober, most of these guys, they same flat, ate their food. Funny enough, I was with Jeba's mom a week ago, and I was telling her that she is the original Motsokolista, because everyone benefited from her paying rent, us eating the food, sleeping there, driving her car to gigs when sometimes you don't get paid. So, yeah.
I mean, I guess it speaks to the essence of what you're talking about, that brotherhood. And now you're celebrating 20th anniversary. Talk to me about this Motswako Republic Tour.
So the Motswako Republic Tour is a concept of collaborations, really. If you have a song with any artist in the lineup, you can just join us. We started in Botswana 2 months ago. It was so successful, and then we went to Ditjobotla in Lichtenburg. And this was last week Saturday. Now this coming Saturday on the 6th, tomorrow, Rekodi Sofeng, and we have Squatter Camp as a guest artist, because we feel like we've worked a lot with Squatter, and as we move along, Klexdorp and other places, we will collaborate with other artists that we've worked with before.
Okay, so it's confined right now to the Gauteng area.
Right now, tomorrow we are in Soweto. Kodi Sofeng, is Tux, is Mulimi, is Morafi, is Matlara Doughboy, obviously with Squatter Camp DJs. We have DJ Zandi. We have a lot of DJs, really, yes. But the Motswako guys will be there, hosted by Beasting, yes.
Yeah. And are you inviting any of the Motswako ladies to come onto the celebration?
100%. I mean, Fifi Cooper will be there. Funny enough, the first lady of Motswako. I'm hoping that some lady can step up and take over, you know.
Take the
we
baton.
need more ladies in the Motswako scene. But yeah, people can come through. It's 150 to get in and come and have fun. We open doors at 2. We'll be hanging out the whole day from there. And there's no celebrity vibes. We just hang out and talk and break down albums. If we have a CD, we autograph it, you know. That's the vibe.
All right. Well, listen, if you were into that Motswako culture, I know a lot of you who are around about my age who listen to the show, you obviously know the reference to all of these names, Kuli, Tux, Mo Murafe. There's so many of them. They're going to be convening for the tour, and if you catch them at one of their events, it will be a nice little nostalgic moment. Limunka, thank you so much for coming through. We appreciate it. It's just gone 10 to 2 o'clock. Let's hit a quick pause here, and then we'll come back. Remember, yesterday, they left me hanging with my taste buds all like ready to salivate over the food festival. So today we'll get to talk to the Durban Street Food Festival director.
Thank you so much.
Mzansi, don't miss out on playing Powerball and Powerball Plus for a life-changing 103 million rand in total guaranteed jackpots this Friday. That's right, play Powerball for the guaranteed 50 million rand and Powerball Plus for the guaranteed 53 million rand today. Buy your tickets now in store on nationallottery.co.za, the mobile app, cell phone banking, or simply dial *120 *7529# for USSD. Panda, Pusha, play. Players must be 18 years old or play responsibly. E2 is the proud operator of the National Lottery.
Hi, I'm Khomotso KG Mweketi, and I believe in music's ability to connect, to heal, to remind, and to bring joy. And each week on my Saturday and Sunday show Seasons right here on SAFM, I endeavor to do just that. So join the movement of Seasons every Saturday and Sunday, 10 a.m. to 1 p.m. It's addictive. You might invite a friend. Seasons, only on SAFM 104 to 107 nationwide with me, KG Mweketi.
This Heritage Month, SAFM invites you to journey into the past while shaping the future under the theme, Reimagine Our Heritage Institutions for a New Era. We celebrate the stories, traditions, and voices that define who we are as a nation. From vibrant conversations to thought-provoking debates, SAFM is where heritage meets innovation, connecting generations and keeping our culture alive in a changing world. SAFM, leading the conversations that move us. Bridget Masinga, weekdays on The Full Circle.
I mean, for any of our Greek listeners that pay attention to the show, don't come for me. We are catching up now with the Durban Street Food Festival director, Georgios Kritos, joins us on the show. I know that the Greek in me couldn't find the right inflection there. How are you doing today?
I'm great. Thank you so much for having me on the show.
Thank you so much for the time. The Durban Street Food Festival, it's returning for a 2025 edition. It's taking place this weekend. In fact, you're opening today. Give us a brief background. I mean, I'm a Durbanite. Why don't I know about the Durban Street Food Festival?
So we've been doing this festival now for about 10 years. And we're having it at the Pavilion Shopping Mall, and it's going to happen from the 5th to the 7th of September, yeah.
Yeah.
With some really great activities coming up.
Really?
Yes.
10 years? I mean,
Yes,
I know
10
for
years.
the better part of that 10 years I've been in Joburg, but
You missed that.
I
You missed
definitely have missed out.
Yes.
Durban is like one of the culinary hubs, I think. Just the convergence of culture in Durban makes for a good journey into food. Talk to us about what really the Street Food Festival presents and how it celebrates that dynamism of culture intersections in Durban.
Great. So Durban is actually one of the top 20 food destinations in the world for street food. So yeah, in 2015 when I was thinking about like a really cool concept of an event, I was like, I really love food and I love events and I want to celebrate our culture in Durban. And we have quite a diverse culture here in Durban. So there's Indian cuisine, there's Asian cuisine, you get your African cuisine, and there's a lot of fusion like street food that happens here. So I was like, this is a great opportunity and event to create.
I mean, I feel like I've been living in a different kind of Durban, clearly, and grew up in a different kind of Durban, because how do I not know that we are the top 20 world destination for food?
Yes. Very interesting, yeah.
Very, very interesting. Now, tell me, by way of the folks that partake in the Street Food Festival, what are some of the culinary senses that you're going to be igniting, and maybe even what are, from your observation over 10 years, what are the favorites from Durban? I venture to say a bunny chow, but I could be very wrong.
The favorites, yeah. So we got like, so this year we have about over 70 different varieties of food vendors here. We have some interesting, obviously our champion cuisine in Durban is Indian cuisine. But at the food festival, we've got different varieties. We've got your South Indian dish, your North Indian dishes. So the stands have got different types of Indian dishes that they prefer. A lot of street food dishes, like your pani puri as well, like a really nice one. Your parathas, there's like vendors that are also doing like new types of mixes of parathas and fillings. So that's really interesting, that I really like. We've got something now that's getting much more popular as quarters here in Durban.
Yeah.
We've got a couple of stands that are actually doing that, which is great.
Yeah, because we went big into kotas. Hey, we had a conversation about kotas on this show last year, and people thought I was lying when I was saying that, no, Durban is not big into kotas because we've got the bunny chow, and they're different.
We've got the bunny chows, yes. Yeah, so now there's bunnies and quarters at the festival. Yeah.
Love it.
So they're also getting pretty popular, yeah.
And then tell me this, are we also seeing some of the culinary taste coming through, bleeding through from our neighboring countries? Like, I think of our proximity to Mozambique, for instance, and us sharing coastlines. Are we also seeing sort of a big uptake in presentation of Mozambican food?
Yes, we actually do, but not really this year. Our previous years, we did have quite a number of vendors that were doing like Portuguese sort of dishes, a lot of like seafood dishes as well. We had stands that did like prawns with the sort of like Mozambican flair to it as well. So yeah, it definitely is coming through, yeah.
Very interesting. Now, here's a curveball question for you, and maybe I'm being very tongue-in-cheek with this ask, but because it is the Durban Street Food Festival, in my mind, I'm almost seeing it, and I haven't been to downtown Durban in a minute, so, put me in my place. In my mind, I'm almost seeing it taking over that like city hall precinct, going into the workshop, that whole area. Why Pavilion?
Why Pavilion? It's a different location for us. So each year we actually do different locations. But for the past 4 years, we've been doing the Pavilion Shopping Mall. They've been a really great partner with us, helping us sort of level up the festival. So that's why we've been doing it. We've been doing it here for quite a while. We use one of their car parks actually, and we try to stimulate like a street food zone. So that's why we actually wanted to use the space with them. So that was one of the main reasons we used Pavilion. But in previous years, we always do different locations. We did use town quite a bit.
Yeah.
We used the Point Waterfront as well, and downtown City Hall. That's when we first started our concept. It was really about down there, activating those spaces.
I was literally about to suggest Point as my next reference, because I want to be feeling the sea breeze while I'm eating something that's yummy, digging into bunny chow. Or here's the other thing that Joburg is, and please, George, just tell them that we don't lie to them on social media. When we tell them that we eat pineapple with the sprinkling of chili, that like chili and salt mix.
Yes. Masala.
Yes, the masala. They think we are lying.
Masala, the greatest combination ever.
Oh my goodness.
Sour and sweet at the same time.
You know what I mean? It's the perfect flavors for the summertime. Now, for tickets, where do people go to gain access into the street food festival hosted at the Pavilion?
Sure. So if you want to get tickets, we've got tickets online. We've got 2 ticket platforms, quicket.co.za, or you can go to fixer.co. So you can get tickets online, or we've got tickets at the door as well. So you can come purchase tickets, card only as well.
Okay.
So yeah.
Wonderful stuff. It's been a blast. Thank you so much for the time. That was Georgios Kritsos. And I know he's like, girl, you need to come to Greece. He's the Durban Street Food Festival director. And it sounds like a blast. So if you're listening to us from Durban this weekend until the 7th, starting from today, they're going to be out at the Pavilion Shopping Centre, my old stomping grounds. It's 2:00. Time for us to get into the news.
Thank you, Bridget. On the top stories, Joburg Water invests R1 billion to reduce water demand, and police search for suspects in shooting incidents on the Cape Flats. For SAFM News, I am Ondelambana, and a very good day. Johannesburg Water says it has invested at least 1.75 billion rand for the current financial year to reduce high water demand across the city, including the refurbishment of leaking reservoirs. This comes after a number of demonstrations linked to the prolonged water crisis in various areas around the city, including Westbury, New Clare and Soweto. The entity's managing director, Nchabeni Mukwebo, says about 22 reservoirs need attention.
This is 22 reservoirs that are outside the norm, which are part of our plan where we'll be doing the work in the current financial year or starting in the current financial year. We are really at the process of getting contractors appointed, and we are aiming that by November we shall have appointed contractors that will be working on all 17 reservoir complexes that comprised of 22 reservoirs.
Police have launched a manhunt for suspects behind 3 separate shooting incidents in Athlone on the Cape Flats this morning. Western Cape Police spokesperson Novella Potelwa says the incidents are believed to be linked to suspected gang fights. She says the man was gunned down on the court premises by a suspect who fled the scene. It's believed the victim was due to appear in court today as an accused. Potelwa says police later recovered a firearm and other belongings.
Not far from the court, a man and a woman were shot and wounded in separate incidents. They were transported to medical facilities for treatment. The detectives from the anti-gang unit are investigating.
The Barkly West Regional Court in the Northern Cape has sentenced a 38-year-old undocumented man to 10 years imprisonment for damaging essential infrastructure in 2016. Prince Ndlovu damaged 2 telecommunications towers in Warrington and stole a large number of backup batteries in Postmasburg. Provincial Police spokesman Mulifi Shimane says Ndlovu was traced and arrested in Johannesburg last year after being on the run.
In July 2016, the accused damaged 2 telecommunications towers belonging to service providers in Warrington and stole a large number of backup batteries. Thereafter, in February 2017, he committed a similar offense by stealing backup batteries from a primary school in Postmasburg. After committing these crimes, the accused fled and evaded arrest for several years. He was eventually tracked down and arrested in Johannesburg in February 2024 through the dedicated efforts of the Provincial Organised Crime Investigation Unit. His bail application was successfully opposed.
The Western Cape High Court will this afternoon hear an application by the Western Cape Network on Disability challenging the City of Cape Town for downscaling dial-a-ride service. The downscaling will come into effect next Monday. It is said that it will deny thousands of persons with disabilities in the city of their only safe and reliable transport. The City of Cape Town has cited financial constraints as a reason for the downscaling. World leaders from over 30 countries have held talks to discuss Ukraine's security amid Russia's ongoing invasion of Ukraine. The coalition of the Wheeling Summit, which took place in Paris, brought together leaders from Europe, Australia, Canada, as well as Japan with the United States. Special Envoy Steve Witkoff was in attendance. Zelensky says Kyiv and its allies have developed a shared vision for security guarantees against future Russian defiance. Butlale Pele has more.
French President Emmanuel Macron, alongside Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky, announced that 26 of Ukraine's allies are pledging troops or equipment once a peace deal with Russia is secured. After a call with U.S. President Donald Trump, Macron said that the U.S. support for Ukraine's security will be finalized in the coming days. However, Russian President Vladimir Putin warned that any Western troops deployed to Ukraine will be targets for Moscow to attack. Butlali Pele, SABC News, Johannesburg.
Recapping the top story, Johannesburg Water says it has invested at least 1.75 billion rand for the current financial year to reduce high water demand across the city, including the refurbishment of leaking reservoirs. I'm on Dilambana for SFM News Headlines at 2:30.
Mzansi, don't miss out on playing Powerball and Powerball Plus for a life-changing 103 million rand in total guaranteed jackpots this Friday. That's right, play Powerball for the guaranteed 50 million rand and Powerball Plus for the guaranteed 53 million rand today. Buy your tickets now in store on nationallottery.co.za, the mobile app, cell phone banking, or simply dial *120 *7529# for USSD. Panda, Pusha, play. Players must be 18 years old, but play responsibly. E2 is the proud operator of the National Lottery.
Hi, I'm Zycard. Catch me every Saturday from 7 to 9 p.m. on Spotlight as we bring you blow-by-blow sporting action, news. That's Spotlight every Saturday. You don't want to miss it.
Here, there, and everywhere. SAFM 104.4 FM in Durban.
The Full Circle with Bridget Masinga, Monday to Friday, 1 to 3 p.m.
It Trezor featuring Msaki with Sandela. We decided to play the collaboration between the two artists, and of course they're going to be Trezor is going to be performing at the Mbira stage at the Standard Bank Joy of Jazz. I happened to bump into him yesterday at the Art Joburg, which is the largest art fair, premium and largest art fair on the continent. And I had to take a moment because remember yesterday we played Wale Wale, his new offering. So I had to take a moment just to tell him what an incredible song that was. We've just gone past 10 past 2 o'clock on the Full Circle with myself, Bridget Masinga, and we're going to shift gears a little bit for stages, pages, screens, and more. And we're going to be in conversation with South African Soweto-born artist. She's a visual artist and she's an alumni of the University of Witwatersrand. One of the celebrated young artists of this particular decade, shaking up the art world. Uzandile Shabalala is going to be in conversation with us. We are also, by the way, running our Joy of Jazz competition. So before we even get into that conversation, they whisper in my ear that it is time for us to give away yet another set of tickets to come through to the Standard Bank Joy of Jazz. You know, we've been soliciting you to send us a SMS on our SMS line the whole of August. Competition closed on the 31st, so there's no longer any entries being accepted. We're going to spend the remainder of September really just announcing the winners of that competition who are going to be joining us at the Sandton Convention Center come the 26th. We've got our next winner on the line. We are going to be chatting to Pumla Ngobo. How are you, Pumla?
Hi, Bridget. I'm all right, thanks. How are you?
I'm good. Martin Escosa, aningumile for winning these tickets. Congratulations to you, Pumla. Thank you so much for entering the competition. Firstly, our birthday competition. Now you've won yourself, a set of tickets. You can come through with a friend to the Standard Bank Joy of Jazz. Are you a big fan? I'm presuming you're a big fan.
Baby girl. It's my life, eh?
It's your life?
Okay. I'm so excited. I don't know what to say.
So, who are you most excited about, or like everybody?
I love everybody, but I'd like to see Esperanza. I'm looking forward to the orchestra with Winton Marsalis.
Yes.
And of course our own Andy Nana.
Yes. Oh, wonderful. All right, look at you with your broad palette. Hey?
Baby girl.
Listen, come the weekend of the jazz, when you see me at the Sandton Convention Center, just tap me on my shoulder and go, baby girl. I know exactly who it is. Pumla, thank you so much for entering our competition. You must have a splendid weekend.
Thank you so much, Bridget. I appreciate it.
It's only but a pleasure.
Happy birthday, SFM!
Oh, I love it. We are banking that, and we definitely are going to use it during the course of the month. I love it when we make our listeners happy. Do you hear how happy they are? Next time we tell you to enter a competition, you must definitely enter the competition. Otherwise, you are going to miss out on so much. That was Pumla Ngobo, and she'll be joining us at the Standard Bank Joy of Jazz.
If you're active on social media and love SAFM, we hope you'll take a moment to like or follow our SAFM page on Facebook and Twitter. These are the best places to find all the guest information, conversations, and stories you love from your favorite presenters, along with regular updates from SABC News. And don't forget, you can send your questions to feedback@safm.co.za. SAFM, leading the conversation.
The soundtrack of your life with Ernest Pillay.
Some songs take you back instantly to your first love, a road trip, or just simpler times. The soundtrack of your life with me, Ernest Pillay, is where timeless hits and forgotten favorites come together to tell your story. It's not just music, it's memories, moments, and the meaning behind this jam. Rediscover the songs that shaped your journey. Tune in to The Soundtrack of Your Life with me, Ernest Pillay, Saturdays and Sundays, 1 to 4 p.m., only on SAFM 104 to 107 nationwide.
SAFM celebrates its 89th birthday this month by giving listeners an exclusive opportunity to attend the prestigious Joy of Jazz taking place at the Santon Convention Centre from the 26th to the 28th of September 2025. To stand a chance to win these sought-after tickets, simply SMS SAFM 89 followed by your name to 41391 and stay tuned to SAFM as we could be calling you. SAFM is the official media partner for the Dipala stage at the Standard Bank Joy of Jazz. Entries open from the 7th of August and close on the 31st of August 2025. Winners will be randomly selected and called from the 1st of September 2025. SMSs are charged at R1.50 per SMS. Free SMSs and SMS bundles do not apply. T's and C's apply. These are the weekend shows on SAFM. Music of Africa with Sheila Ndikumana. The Weekend View with Bongiwe Zwane. The Jet Set Breakfast with Michelle Constant. Seasons with Khomotso KG Mwekezi. The Soundtrack of Your Life with Ernest Pillay. Weekend Soundowner Classics with Kutlwano Masote. Spotlight with Zai Khan. The Weekend with John Kherika. Shifting Your Lens with Bertha Charuma. This is SAFM. Bridget Masinga is streaming live now on Facebook, YouTube, and X at SAFM Radio.
A quick catch up with our partners and friends at the Standard Bank Joy of Jazz. We're talking to the CEO of Team Music Man and producer of the Joy of Jazz Festival, Mandwa Chino Amadi, joins me now to talk around the 2025 Jazzwise Youth Music Business Workshop. How are you doing this afternoon?
I'm okay, and you, Bridget. Thanks for having me.
I am fabulous, fabulous. So as we build up and roll out to the festival coming up at the end of the month, we just wanted to touch base around the Jazzwise Youth Music Business Workshop. And how befitting that we have this conversation after speaking to Benjamin Jafta in the first hour of the show. And he was talking about how jazz needs to become more accessible to young musicians.
Well, Jazzwise then opens up the whole can of, what this industry can give to young people. I mean, we grew up thinking that to be in the entertainment space, you only have to be a musician. However, Jazzwise is saying to you, there are careers within the industry. So we've put together, panels of people to come and talk to the people, provide guidance and training and networking opportunities for them, for either you are an aspiring artist or an industry professional.
Absolutely. And the business of music, if you talk to young musicians, regardless of genre, oftentimes they point out that the business of music is something that they lack. The creative element is there, the talent is there, but the understanding and the knowledge of the business around music is what's often lacking.
That's so true, Bridget. If we don't teach young people that, yes, you can have all this talent, you need to go and study this music. You need to have a team or have knowledge about how you market your things, how you market your products. we've seen so many times young, talented kids just going on social media without direction and just putting things out there, and you realize that, had this child maybe consulted somebody, to teach them marketing techniques, or has this child maybe consulted somebody who is a photographer who will capture your expressions or your images to be this way instead of that way, And again, we have musicians, Benjamin Jefferson, like you say, and Gabi Mutuba.
Did we lose Mantwa? I think we just briefly lost our connection to Mantwa there. We're going to try and re-establish connection and then come back and continue this conversation. They're presenting the Jazz Wise Youth Music Business Workshop, which is happening on the 17th of September out at the Joburg Theatre. And this is designed really to empower Mzansi's young creatives and the future stars of the music business. And we talk stars of the music business, we don't just talk front-facing, we're not just talking about the musicians, but we're also talking about the people who play the supporting role in the different capacities that are required to make a success out of the creative industry. We've got Mantwa back on the line. Apologies for that. Don't know what happened there with our line. But yes, we were talking about just the importance of understanding the business of music.
Exactly. Lately we've seen young musicians, especially in the jazz world, who are not only, into music, but they write books. They score for films. They travel and tour. So those are the opportunities and care or revenue streams needs to be spoken about. Don't just sit and think that I have released my album or I have released my EPK or I have released my song and then I sit at home and waiting for royalties. There's so many things that you can do about that song, about that music.
Absolutely. And I think when we also talk about, creating and empowering young rising stars and creatives, it's not just, as you allude, it's not just about the talents, Sis Mantwa. There's a whole ecosystem that's involved in entertainment that I think sometimes young people are so, they have tunnel vision. And they forget to try and dissect what are my strengths, what are my talents, what are my weaknesses, and where would all of these be best served within the creative industry?
We have a panel. It's called the Art of Booking. So we have brought in people like Kenny from the venue. And then we have brought in a young music producer. Kids love jazz too. So to come and speak to them that, yes, you could be this talented person. What is it that a producer of a festival, when a mentor of a festival is sitting, what is it that we book? And they take them through those, ins and outs of, well, yes, you could be as talented as any other person. However, if you don't know what to sell, you can produce your music and it's beautiful, but going to a producer to book you, it's more like a sales deal. You need a marketing person who will, strategize how we are going to sell you. You need a PR person who will talk to how are we selling you. So the ecosystem is so that we have channeled it on.
I think the line is failing us. We're not quite sure from which end it's failing us, but it seems to be dropping out there. But let's leave it there, because if we don't have a stable connection, it will make for hard conversation. Wednesday, the 17th of September at the Joburg Theatre from 8 a.m. is when that workshop is happening, the 2025 Jazzwise Youth Music Workshop. So if you have a young person that has a vested interest within the arts industry, particularly so in music, and I know that this is presented by the jazz industry, but it can speak to music holistically. Okay, let's try one last time in our final moments. The importance also, Sis Mandwa, of the festival presenting a platform like Jazzwise, because I think it also speaks to a legacy beyond music for the festival, beyond just presenting a music content.
Mm-hmm. That's true. A program like this, Bridget, is aimed at equipping the young musicians, with knowledge and skills. And also, you need, there's this thing about somebody who inspired me. Put them in a space of people who are doing it, to give them an inspiration of some sort. I was inspired by somebody. And had I not been, exposed to that person, I'm not sure that I will be here where I am. But if you don't put people that will push their passion, and show them the ropes, then we are sitting with a stagnant ecosystem that's not really moving and evolving. And I really, really, every time I come out of that program, myself, I'm still learning. Because there are new things that are happening here now that are new producers of other events and spaces are doing. I also go in there and sit like a student. So there is no way that you can say, I'm enough of learning. No. I always say, I urge those kids, whoever you are, those young people, those musicians, come through on the 17th of September. It is free. And when you go out of there, you definitely have direction of, this is my strength. Yes, I want to sing. But you know what? I think that I can be a very good PR specialist. Or I can be a very good marketing specialist.
And you never know the importance of these roles until you see them in action. I happened to be at a live event this past weekend. I was emceeing a live event, and Msaki's road manager jumped on to stage manage the entire event, and I couldn't help but being so grateful the entire day, because I understood the importance of having a stage manager and having someone who really is quite proficient at that job, and how important that is for the experience of the audience, as well as just for the artists that are coming on and off stage. And these are things that sometimes I think kids are not aware of. They may not have the vocabulary to say, well, what are the other careers that are adjacent within the music industry?
That's so true. That's so true. I mean, a young road manager who now jumps and be a program producer or director, it's very important. So if we don't know the whole link of, yes, you are a musician, but you will need a road manager, you will need a makeup artist, you would need. So you won't understand. You cannot work in an industry which you don't understand.
Absolutely. Always a blast chatting to you. I get the feeling, Uti, we're still going to touch base as we get closer to that 26th weekend. But for now, have a great weekend. I hope you manage to get some rest before things get crazy for you. That was the CEO of Team Music Man and producer of the Standard Bank Joy of Jazz Festival, Mandwa Chiamadi. And of course, 17 September, if you're a young person that's got an interest within the music industry, then this workshop is definitely for you. The Jazzwise Youth Music Business Workshop being presented at the Joburg Theatre. It is free. Registration happens from 8 a.m. So make sure you're there nice and early to secure your spot. And they've got quite a lot that is on the calendar for the day, including conversations with some of the celebrated jazz artists, the likes of Benjamin Jafta. It's 2:30. It's time for the headline news, and then we're going to get into our kids programming. We'll come back on the other side of this, and we'll catch up with Melinda Ferguson.
Thank you, Bridget. On the news headlines, Parliament has appointed Advocate Norman Arendse SC to lead evidence in the ad hoc committee that has been set up to investigate allegations of threats to national security. Johannesburg Water says it has invested at least 1.75 billion rand for the current financial year to reduce high water demand across the city, including the refurbishment of leaking reservoirs. And the UN says fresh funding will keep food and nutrition support running for more than 300,000 malnourished children and mothers in northeast Nigeria. Efalabde follows at the top of the hour.
SAFM 104 to 107 nationwide.
This program is brought to you by SABC Education, enriching minds, enriching lives.
Hello friends and welcome to Nali Bali. Have you ever tried to learn something new like riding a bike, reading a book or solving a math problem? At first it might feel tricky, but with time, effort and focus you can get better and better. One of the best ways to learn is by paying close attention to the person teaching you. When we listen carefully and practice, we understand things faster and make fewer mistakes. Learning takes patience, and that's okay. Today's story is called Bokang the Rain Princess, written by Pumlama Vimbela. Before we listen to today's story, let's all get up and dance! Once upon a time, in the magical kingdom of Balobedu lived a young rain princess named Bokang. For as long as she could remember, she wanted to be like her mother, the great Queen Mujaji, ruler of Balobedu. Queen Mujaji controlled the weather, making sure the sun shone, the winds blew, and the rain fell at just the right time. Bokang wanted to be more than just a princess. She wanted to make rain too, but every time she asked her mother to teach her, she got the same reply.
My dear Bokang, rain is not only about clouds and water. It's something deeper, and you must discover the secret on your own.
This made the young princess sad. As much as she wanted to bring rain to the land, she had no idea how to begin. So she kept herself locked in a room, moping day and night. To lift her daughter's spirit, the queen prepared Bokang's favorite meal. The aroma filled the air, yet it failed to coax Bokang from her room.
Unless you tell me how to make rain, I will not come out.
Bokang cried. One morning, Bokang woke up and saw a strange blue bird perched on her windowsill.
Young rain princess,
it called her. Bokang was startled but delighted to hear the bird talk.
Oh yes, we can talk to people when we feel like it,
chirped the bird.
Now, I've heard you want to know the secret of making rain. Come on, follow me,
said the bird and flew off. Excited, Bokang ran outside. The bird hovered near the garden gate, then flew down to the village. Wogang followed as quickly as she could. When she got down to the village, she was surprised to see the people dressed in brightly colored clothing that echoed the rainbow. Some danced while others sang, and the children played in the nearby field. Their ululations echoed all around. Wogang felt as though she had stepped into a dream.
What's happening?
She asked, watching the jubilant scene.
This is the Great Rain Festival. Every year, your people come together to celebrate the coming of rain that will bless our lands.
The bird explained. Suddenly, a young woman called out to Wogang.
Princess, princess, come dance with us.
Wogang eagerly joined the lovely dancers, trailing and swaying until she felt dizzy with delight.
Princess, princess, come sing with us.
Another voice called out. Without hesitation, Wogang poured out her heart in a song. Then the children chimed in, calling their princess to come and play with them. Wogang joyfully joined in the game. Never before had she felt such happiness coursing through her veins. Then she heard the bird say to her,
Little princess, it's time to go home.
Wogang didn't really want to go home, but she waved goodbye to everyone and followed the bluebird back home. The next day, the queen fetched the princess and led her to a cliff. Below them, the village she had visited the day before was still bustling with activity. The villagers continued to dance, sing and play, eagerly waiting for the rain that would bless their crops. The queen raised her arms, and the dark clouds began to gather above. Raindrops started to fall, their gentle pitter-patter nourishing the earth. Queen Mujaji turned and said to Wogang,
Watch closely, Wogang. Feel the love of your people in your heart.
Wogang closed her eyes and thought of the day before. She remembered how lovely it had felt when she danced, sang, and played with the villagers and how happy they had been to see her. Wogang felt the warmth spreading within her, and then something magical happened. Wogang's hands glowed with a soft light and tiny raindrops formed around her fingertips.
Look, Mom! I'm making rain!
She said to her mother. Queen Mujaji's eyes twinkled.
Yes, my little rain princess. You've discovered the secret. Love is always the key. When you care for others and you share your joy and kindness, the sky responds.
From that day on, Wogang practiced making rain. She visited the village, played with the children, helped the elderly, and spread love wherever she went. And each time the clouds listened, the rain fell, and the land bloomed with gratitude. At the next Grain Rain Festival, Wogang stood beside her mother with the beautiful bluebird on her shoulder. The villagers cheered as she raised her arms and her heart overflowing with love. The clouds gathered and rain poured down, a gentle, refreshing shower that soaked the earth and filled the hearts of everyone present. Queen Mujaji hugged Wogang tightly.
You've made me very proud, my sweet rain princess.
Wogang beamed at her mother.
Thank you, my queen. But it wasn't only me. It was the love of our people that make it rain.
The rain princess continued to bring rain to Balobedu, not only with her magic, but also with her kindness and compassion. She knew that love was the greatest magic of all, a secret shared by mother and daughter, binding their hearts and their kingdom forever. And now you know the secret too. Whenever you share a smile, a hug, or a kind word, you're creating magic because love like rain has the power to transform the world. And so we come to the end of another Nali Bali story time. Today's story was called Wokang the Rain Princess, written by Phumla Mavimbela. Did you know that reading and telling stories to children at home can help them do better at school? If you want free stories to read to your children or for your children to enjoy on their own, visit the Nali Bali website www.nalibali.org or Mobi site www.nalibali.mobi. You will find stories in 11 South African languages as well as tips for reading and sharing stories with your children to grow their potential. Also look out for the bilingual Nali Bali Reading for Enjoyment supplement with great children's stories and activities available in newspapers. Nali Bali, it starts with a story.
This program was brought to you by SABC Education, enriching minds, enriching lives.
SAFM 104 to 107 nationwide.
This Heritage Month, SAFM invites you to journey into the past while shaping the future under the theme Reimagine Our Heritage Institutions for a New Era. We celebrate the stories, traditions, and voices that define who we are as a nation. From vibrant conversations to thought-provoking debates, SAFM is where heritage meets innovation, connecting generations and keeping our culture alive in a changing world. SAFM, leading the conversations that move us. The SAFM University Debate Challenge is back. The University of KwaZulu-Natal will take on the University of Zululand in what promises to be a nail-biting debate. Join us for the 1-hour debate on This Week Today with Oliver Dixon from 6 to 7 p.m. on Friday, the 5th of September 2025. The SAFM University Debate Challenge is an independent, non-partisan progressive initiative seeking to develop confident communicators, critical thinkers, and empowered global citizens. SAFM, leading the conversations that move us.
If you're active on social media and love SAFM, we hope you'll take a moment to like or follow our SAFM page on Facebook and Twitter. These are the best places to find all the guest information, conversations, and stories you love from your favorite presenters, along with regular updates from SABC News. And don't forget, you can send your questions to feedback@safm.co.za. SAFM, leading the conversation.
Do great solutions start with good conversation? SAFM, leading the conversations that move us. Bridget Masinga is streaming live now on Facebook, YouTube, and X at SAFM Radio.
All right, we thought we'd wrap up the show with a different kind of book circle this afternoon. We're catching up with publisher Melinda Ferguson. It is a tourism month, so we thought we'd talk about one of the pioneers of our tourism sector. You know him or knew him as Saul Kerzner, and when you think Saul Kerzner, you think Sun City, one of the ultimate short-lived destinations. The book Saul, My Friend and Adversary Saul Kerzner, is written by Peter Venison and published by Melinda Ferguson Books. How are you doing this afternoon, Melinda?
Lovely to hear your voice. Long time.
It's been a long time.
Yeah, I know. It's great to be on the show. Thank you.
Thank you so much for the time. Much appreciated. I mean, this is, I think, one of those South African stories that needs to be told, because who doesn't think Saul Kerzner when you think Sun City, when you think resorting, or you think entertainment in South Africa?
Yeah, I mean, what a legend Saul was. And I was very fortunate to be given the book by the author Peter Venison. It's a long story, so I'm not going to go into it, but it was one of those lovely synchronicitous stories. And it had always bothered me that there hadn't been a book on Sol Kerzner. I mean, I don't know if you know that there were there was a book that was attempted to be published by Jonathan Ball I'm not even sure what year. Alan Greenblow was the author, but Sol was alive during that time, and him and Annelien Creel took the author and the publisher to court. They won, and the book was banned. A lot of books were printed, and they were all removed from the shelf before they could even sell. And basically, Sol Kerzner said, no, I don't like this book, and you're not going to have this book on me. And so there was this kind of empty space around one of South Africa, and maybe even definitely the global hotel legend. And so when Peter came with me with this book, I was like, yeah. I mean, Sol had been dead for 5 years. He died in March 2020 just as lockdown started. And I was very intrigued because I felt like this was a bird's eye view of working with the man. Peter Venison had been a right-hand man to Sol Kerzner through some of the most interesting times. And I was just thrilled, and the two of us got on like a house on fire. And the next thing, it was my first book that I published as an independent publisher. I'd left NB Publishers, and so it was one of those risky projects, but I kept hearing Sol in my head going, you got to go for it. So I hope he was saying that to me. And the book's done brilliantly.
Wonderful. I mean, listen, he was, if you're hearing the voice in the head that says you got to go for it, I think that's the one thing. I've never met Sol Kerzner, but I think it's the one thing that in rooms where he was spoken about and having sort of journeyed through those Sun International corridors in my own right, a lot of what was echoed was that he really did have that chutzpah. He really was the guy that would throw caution to the wind and just go for the idea, the bigger the better.
I mean, you've just got to, we've all been to the Palace, Lost City, the legend of the Lost City. I mean, I went there recently, just while I was actually getting the book ready to go to print. And I saw it with those new eyes and thought, who on earth would have come up with an idea like this in the middle of old Bophuthatswana, the homeland that was Lucas Mangolpi's kingdom? But I mean, it wasn't exactly the place everyone was going to during apartheid. Definitely, it was a almost forsaken piece of ground that he decided to build this world kind of heritage site almost.
Yeah.
And when you walk through that palace, I mean, and you see the elephants and the leopard and all those huge kind of, the art, the whole vibe of the palace is so over the top. And, there was a time in my life where I thought, it's so gauche. When I was a bit of a socialist, I was like, oh no, this is so materialistic. But one can never take away the genius that was like in his vision to have this huge thing built out of the ground.
Absolutely. I want to pause here for a second, Melinda, and then we'll come back and we'll continue our conversation. We are chatting to Melinda Ferguson. She's a publisher, really celebrated publisher in South Africa, and brought out some incredible titles. And this time around, she's bringing to us Sol, My Friend and Adversary, Sol Kerzner, and it's written by Peter Venison. We're just going to take a quick pause, and then we'll come back and continue the conversation.
If you think you cannot afford a lawyer, think again. Clientele Legal has made professional legal services affordable for you. Whether it's a civil, criminal, or labor-related matter, we have a nationwide panel of attorneys standing by to assist you. SMS SAFM to 32195. That's SAFM to 32195, and we'll call you back. Clientele General is a licensed non-life insurer and an authorized FSP. Standard rates and terms and conditions apply.
We all know a Mesara, that parent who randomly calls to check up on you.
Mtanam, when are you visiting?
She knows that every call or text goes towards her free funeral cover. She'll keep calling until she spends at least 120 Rand a month.
Mara, why haven't you accepted my friend request? Huh?
For every convo or scroll, you get 10,000 Rand free funeral cover. Recharge with 120 Rand every month to get covered. No paperwork, debit orders, or medicals. Recharge on the VodaPay app or dial *123#. T's and C's apply. Further together. Vodacom.
This week on Off-Pitch Goals, former Ajax, Amazulu and Bidvest Vid striker Sfiso Vilakazi aims to score big in the taxi business. He takes us through the strategy and cunning required to thrive in this competitive industry. Tune in to SABC Sport on DTT Channel 4 and SABC Plus, the Saturday 6 September at 8:30 p.m. Off-Pitch Goals, where we showcase how the stars score in business. Proudly brought to you by SABC Sport.
For the love of the game.
Mzansi, don't miss out on playing Powerball and Powerball Plus for a life-changing 103 million Rand in total guaranteed jackpots this Friday. That's right, play Powerball for the guaranteed 50 million Rand and Powerball Plus for the guaranteed 53 million Rand today. Buy your tickets now in store on nationallottery.co.za, the mobile app, cell phone banking, or simply dial *120*7529# for USSD. Panda, Pusha, play. Players must be 18 years old, but play responsibly. E2 is the proud operator of the National Lottery.
All right, we are in the final moments of the show, and let's just remind you, GovTech 2025 is back from the 8th until the 10th of September at the Durban ICC for 3 days of innovation, inspiring speakers, and powerful collaborations, all shaping the future of digital government. From policy to AI, cybersecurity, data, cloud, and connectivity, GovTech is where transformation takes place. Innovation meets impact at the nation's flagship digital government conference. Register now at govtech.gov.za and be a part of shaping the future.
Bridget Masinga on SAFM.
We're in conversation with Melinda Ferguson in our final moments, publisher extraordinaire, and it is Tourism Month, so we thought we'd delve into this new memoir that takes a look at the life of Saul Kerzner. Saul, my friend and adversary, Saul Kerzner, a book that's written by Peter Venison. And before we get to knowing a little bit more about the author of this book, Melinda, I mean, as we sort of reflect back on Saul, the character, the man, the pioneer, what makes his story so compelling outside of the mystery of it all? Because we feel like we know him because of the legacy that he's left us, but we really know nothing.
Well, I mean, one of the things I loved about the book was it wasn't like this varnished, Saul Kerzner was this perfect man. Pete had a lot of stories about Saul cursing a lot. I won't say what he said, but he cursed he used the cursing word as a noun, an adjective, and a verb all in one sentence. He drank a lot until he stopped drinking, and he smoked like a chimney. Now, for me, it was wonderful to see this kind of very flawed man who would lose his temper. Apparently, it was really hard to work for him. And there are many stories in the book where people are, left in tears, resigning. Saul was very demanding. He was a perfectionist of note. And he demanded not just the extra mile, but the extra 1,000 miles from people. And so he would lose his temper. But he was always, it was always for the good of the project. And Bridget, one of the things I loved about hearing all of these stories about Saul Kerzner was that he was never late with a deadline. What he would do is, even for Sun City, he invited people before he laid one single brick. So he would invite people to the opening of the hotel or whichever hotel he was building, and then make that the deadline. So that people were never able to slack it with him. He was just a relentless slave driver, really, but he got the product. And I was very inspired by that because I hate missing deadlines. So someone who's like that, hung up on deadlines, is someone close to my heart.
Right?
Those are the types of stories that Peter had to tell me that were just absolutely mesmerizing. And the public had loved the book. I think that Saul is a son of South Africa. It's beautiful to have this book featured in the Heritage and Tourist Month. I think it is tourist month. If it isn't, I'm sorry. But basically, yeah, because he will live on much longer than, he might have died 5 years ago, but his legacies are all over the world.
Absolutely. I mean, you think of Elangeni Hotel in Durban that now combines Southern Sun, Elangeni, and Maharani. You think of Beverly Hills Hotel, the first
Beverly Hills
five-star.
was his first one. And that was built in 1964. And he came from a poor family. And I also loved the fact that he wasn't a rich, privileged boy who got money from his father. They worked, they were immigrants. His father was a Jewish immigrant who came to South Africa. They lived in Bez Valley in Joburg. And so everything that he built, he really built off the sweat of his back.
Oh, wonderful. Now, tell us a little bit in our final moments. Tell us a little bit about Peter Venison, because you say he worked with Saul, and then obviously later on they became adversaries.
Yeah, they had this, it was reminding me of a bit of an abusive marriage where they would be enamored with each other. Saul would then upset Peter. Peter would resign. Saul would beg him to come back. Peter would make him promise never to speak to him like that again. And then, of course, Saul would explode. And Peter, is a very, very elegant English gentleman. He's from the UK. So the combination of this tiny little Jewish man, Saul Kerzner, who was always raging, and then this very refined English man, Peter Venison, they actually made an incredible partnership. Because Peter was so much more sensible, maybe, than Saul. And Saul was the one with dreams, but Peter was the one who was facilitating these dreams.
A perfect combination, I think, absolutely. I mean, it sounds like a riveting read, and also what I love about it, it's a snapshot into a history that would have otherwise not been told. And I'm quite actually interested, and I don't know in your conversations, when he banned the other memoirs, I mean, what really was at the core of him not wanting his story to be told?
Look, remember there was corruption charges against him with Matanzima. There was quite a lot of talk about different the illicit things that had been done. And I would imagine that, I've never read that book, but I imagine that book went into detail. And then, of course, the relationship between him and Miss World, Annalene Creel, was also, I think, delved into in that book. And apparently it wasn't a great one. There was a lot of drama in that relationship. And so I think between Saul and Annalene, they said this was invading their privacy.
I see. Well, now we have this memoir, Saul, My Friend and Adversary, Saul Kerzner, by Peter Venison. Looking forward to it. Melinda, always a pleasure talking to you. Definitely will put this on my reading list. It's a perfect read for the summertime. And it tells us the story, of course, of Saul Kerzner as told through the eyes of his friend and long-term confidant and associate, Peter Venison. That is where we leave it for this afternoon. I hope that you've had a great week. You're ready to wrap it up and look at the weekend ahead and maybe get some rest. Very important for you to prioritize resting as well. Resting is not a privilege. It should be a priority. So if you can, take some moments for yourself and your family to just be in solitude and do something enjoyable this weekend. Make some memories. And it doesn't have to cost you an arm and a leg, because we know the state of the economy. Sometimes it's just about being outside together and going for a casual walk or watching a little series together, where we find the most fun. From myself and my team, we will see you next week. It's always a honor and a privilege from us to bring you this show, and we don't take it for granted that you could have been anywhere but you chose to be here. Ashraf Gada is coming through between 3 and 6. Inshallah, God willing, we do it again.
SAFM has signed Find a code of conduct that is enforced by the Broadcasting Complaints Commission of South Africa. Under the code, we are committed to giving news that is accurate, comment that is fair, and programming that is not harmful, does not amount to hate speech, or contain violence or explicit sex. If you think we are not living up to that code, then you can inform the Broadcasting Complaints Commission of South Africa. Direct any complaints in writing to the Broadcasting Complaints Commission of South Africa. PO Box 142365, Craig Hall 2024. Fax to 011-326-3198 or an email to bccsa@nabsa.co.za. For more information, please visit www.bccsa.co.za.
Thank you, Bridget. And the team on the top stories advocate Arendse to lead committee into Mkwanazi's allegations, and Joburg Water invests R1 billion to reduce water demand. For SFM News, I am Onde Lambana, and a very good day. Parliament has appointed Advocate Norman Arendse SC to lead evidence in the ad hoc committee that has been set up to investigate allegations of threats to national security. The committee was established following allegations by KwaZulu-Natal Provincial Commissioner Nhlanhla Mkhwanazi of serious corruption in the criminal justice system. He made the allegations during a media conference in July. Parliamentary legal advisor Thuli Ganyaza-Twalo announced the legal experts that have been appointed to assist the committee.
The person that has been appointed by Parliament to assist the committee in leading evidence is Advocate Norman Arendse, who is the senior counsel. And the next slide also shows the two advocates that will be working with him. We have Advocate Maria Mugawetsi, and also Advocate Lerato Zikalala.
Johannesburg Water says it has invested at least 1.75 billion rand for the current financial year to reduce high water demand across the city, including the refurbishment of leaking reservoirs. This comes after a number of demonstrations linked to the prolonged water crisis in various areas around the city, including Westbury, New Clare and Soweto. The entity's managing director, Ntabeni Mukwebo, says about 22 reservoirs need attention.
These 22 reservoirs that are outside the norm, which are part of our plan where we'll be doing the work in the current financial year or starting in the current financial year. We are really at the process of getting contractors appointed, and we are aiming that by November we shall have appointed contractors that will be working on all 17 reservoir complexes that comprised of 22 reservoirs.
The Barkly West Regional Court in the Northern Cape has sentenced a 38-year-old undocumented man to 10 years imprisonment for damaging social infrastructure in 2016. Prince Ndlovu damaged 2 telecommunications towers in Warrington and stole a large number of backup batteries in Postmasburg. Provincial Police spokesperson Molefi Shemane says Ndlovu was traced and arrested in Johannesburg last year after being